All bets are off as SkyCity says it can't rule out job losses in the face of the Covid-19 pandemic. In an effort to protect its more than 5,000 staff, the company has turned off 40% of its pokies on its main casino gaming floor, reduced the number of people allowed at gaming tables and instructed staff to self-isolate if need be. SkyCity's CEO Graeme Stephens says while the business is well geared to weather the decline in customers, it's planning for what a total shutdown of operations might mean should their luck come to that.
We've made a decision to turn off every second electronic gaming machine, so there's a space between players. We're limiting the number of players at any one table to no more than 5, and that'll be fine during the week. Friday, Saturday, when we peak, we're going to have to manage it. So we steer customers to different parts of the building, and ultimately, if we get too busy, we'll just have to turn people away.
So in terms of those gaming machines, the pokies, you're turning off every second machine in order to keep space between the players, are you? Is that the reasoning?
Yes. So just so you guaranteed you can sit at a machine and you've got no one left or right of you and enough space between you and any potential next player.
So how many machines have you had to switch off then as a consequence of that spacing?
It'll be about 40% of our machines, because the banks aren't all odd-numbered. So it works out at about 40%. We've also worked with the Ministry of Health to try and get endorsement as to whether these sort of measures are satisfactory, and they're saying that we're doing the right thing here. So
40% of your machines, how significant of that in terms of the pokies machines? 40%, how significant is that in terms of the revenue that they generate and the people they bring in?
It'll affect us Friday nights and Saturday nights. The rest of the week, we don't run at full capacity anyway. It's those 2 nights of the week where we would typically be at capacity. The truth is we've been a little down on visitation anyway. So the capacity today is different to capacity a month or 2 ago. So in all of it, we think we can do it, mitigate the safety of our customers without overly prejudicing the business.
So how much down are you on visitors then?
I can't talk to that today. We are planning a market update tomorrow. We've got a board meeting tonight. It's obviously been a moving feast. So whereas we thought we were ready to go out towards the end of last week, new regulations and restrictions over the weekend means we've had another look at it. I think tomorrow we'll be able to talk more freely with a market update. We're not facing the same immediate crisis that other businesses are facing in the industry. We're still a largely domestic business, and I think absent community-to-community sort of case of coronavirus in New Zealand, people are still happy to go out. So yes, we've been impacted, but not to the same extent as businesses that are more directly focused on international travel.
So what percentage of your patronage would be from overseas visitors and use of the hotel? The overseas component of our business is quite focused on the hotel side of the business. The Sky Tower is obviously, that's something that all international tourists want to go up and down. There's a component of our gaming business, our international business, which is around about 10% of the business that's entirely reliant on international visitors, and it's been impacted, obviously. And are those your higher end customers? Those that 10%, which you say are from offshore, are they the bigger rollers?
Yes, that's them. 10% by value, not by volume, and. They are, and they have been unable to travel here with travel restrictions in place in Australia and New Zealand. So that's a part of the business that's obviously been impacted. But for the bulk of it, it's domestic. It's people that drive to us, and for that reason, it's not been the same immediate impact. There's obviously been some negative impact, and we're looking at this lasting and probably getting worse actually over the next few months. So. Trying to factor all of that into guidance, which we'll give to the market, has been a challenge. But we'll be able to share a bit more stats tomorrow.
Do you anticipate job losses?
Well, clearly we hope not, and we are not actively targeting any job losses right now. Tightening belts, yes, and getting people to work maybe a little less, taking more leave during this period. Over the next 12 to 14 months, we're a big net employer. We'll be opening Adelaide. We're hoping to get the hotel in Auckland open first half of 2021. So it's counterintuitive to be losing jobs now only to employ again in the not too distant future.
At the moment, Graeme, are you asking people to take leave, though?
We haven't asked anyone yet, but it'll be probably those sort of initiatives ahead of job losses. We're trying to match our employee hours and days to our levels of business, and having people stay in jobs, maybe working less, maybe getting a little less in the interim, knowing that in the medium term, hopefully things are back to normal. So trying to keep people on the payroll that match hours work to volumes in the business. That's current thinking, but it's got quite a bit of work to go into that to achieve that.
And can you rule out job losses at this point?
I don't think anyone can, but I can say, absent a closure. So let's maybe dwell on that. Whilst we're trading, I think we can shoulder, shorter-term losses, knowing we're going to be employing longer term. One of the situations we watch globally is lockdowns and total closures. If we were forced to close, that's obviously a different world. We employ over 5,000 people. And so closure is something we want to avoid at all costs, as does the rest of the country. And in that vein, we sort of characterise ourselves as more of a shopping mall in nature. Lots of
so Graeme, just to be
within a large precinct.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you see a scenario where you may have to close the casino? Is that something you're planning for?
We note that in other countries where total lockdowns have taken place, everything closes. So we have to contemplate that. We are not living in that world, and I don't think other New Zealand businesses are right now. But I think all of us have to plan for the possibility of a total lockdown. So yes, we're developing plans, but are obviously very hopeful that day doesn't arrive. And hopefully the measures taken by government to flatten the curve mean that the country can cope without having to take that sort of drastic action.